time for a video. And you know what? I'm back in my apartment for like a few days, so it's a little bit weird right now. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. It's gonna be a guide video today, and today we're talking about pressure or split pushing. I was like thinking, okay, split pushing and pressure ability, these are both things that I want to talk about today in this video because I've run into a lot of issues with said things in my matches in League of Legends, and I've just been having a rough time, and I want to impart some of my frustration. This is like combination rant video plus like I'm trying to like help you learn something. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna be unpacking a lot of emotions. I'm very emotional right now. Just so emotional. I'm just so emotional right now. I just can't handle it. I need to get it out. I need to put the feelings onto the microphone and just. But yeah, anyway, it's gonna be a little bit of those things. I want to talk about pressure, split pushing, and how pressure affects both like split pushing, ganks, and jungling, and all that jazz. So let's get into it. So pressure. What is pressure? In the context of League of Legends is when you do things like pushing a wave or pushing a minion wave into a tower, when you're putting pressure on a lane or something like that. It's mainly doing with laning and stuff like that, and putting pressure in different parts of the map. So you being in a spot applies pressure, and you pushing that minion wave applies the pressure to the enemy. So what does this do? What does this accomplish? Well, it accomplishes a few things. Let's do like a scenario here. You're in mid lane, obviously, because that's the only lane that we play, right? It's the most important one. When you push a lane in, you're applying pressure, and what this does is it causes your opponent to make decisions. And I want to talk about how that's really important, because the more decisions your opponent has to make, the more advantage you have, because you've already decided to push the minion wave and what it's supposed to accomplish. Now they have to make a decision on what they're going to do about it. Now other things are going to impact that, like say for example, you applied pressure in mid lane, now your jungler sees that and they're like, ah yes, this is a good time to take dragon because my laner is putting pressure, and the laner is going to either stick around or leave or something like that. If you leave the mid lane, then the opponent has to decide, okay, if it's a big wave, I'm going to lose like 20 minions to the tower, and the tower might take a bunch of damage. That's a decision. Or I can leave, I can stay, take the minions, keep my tower safe, but we'll lose dragons. You might argue that one is more important than the other, stuff like that. You're losing power from the gold that you're going to get. That's going to translate into other things. So those are decisions you're putting on your opponent. For example, other things like counter jungling, things like that. If you're a jungler and you're going to counter jungle, it'd be a good time to do that when your laner's pushed up. Because guess what? If they're all the way pushed back to their tower and you're gone off into red buff, going to grandma's house in the middle of the woods, well, guess what? Warwick's gonna come out of there and take your lunch money, okay? Jeez, like, I'm all the way over there, I'm all the way over here, I can't get to you as fast as the enemy laner can, all right? Don't go counter jungling when I'm all the way back here, all right? Or at least ping me or something like that. They just kind of wander into the jungle thinking, oh my gosh, wow, there's just nothing here. I guess I'll take everything. And then suddenly they just find Yi in the bush and just like, haha, I got my sword. I'm gonna stab you. So yeah, pressure is important because it helps with pressuring your opponent into making a decision. Haha. How does this apply to split pushing? The first thing we have to ask is, what is split pushing? If you've never done it or never seen it, you probably have. If you've played League of Legends for long enough, you know what split pushing is. It's like one of the few tactics that brings it makes people rage quit the game more often probably than someone calling your mom fat or gay or something like that. Like, I'm not saying I'm like the epitome of knowing how to split push. Just saying there's a few things you could do to make it easier on yourself. So that's what I'm gonna talk about right now. What can you do to split push? What does it entail? Well, it entails a group of you to be in one spot and then someone else to be somewhere else. Fascinating. Complex. Calculus. I'm just putting words out that mean nothing. So, just, yeah. So what does this do? Well, it's supposed to apply pressure to a lane, right? It's supposed to apply pressure to a lane to allow someone to either push one lane or the other. And usually they're pushing at the same time. And that means that the enemy will have to decide, okay, well, if this person is really strong, we have to send this number of people over here, we have to send this number of people over here, and hope that it comes out the best, right? So you're causing your opponent to make decisions. So hopefully you sent your strongest, or at least one of your strongest people up to somewhere else, or down to somewhere else, bottom, top, mid, or whatever, and you've gone somewhere else, the 4 of you, or 3 of you, or whatever, gone somewhere else, and hopefully they can 1v1 the person, or even if they draw more, then you can push in. So how do you do this? You can send one person up to top lane, and the 4 of you can sit in mid lane. You can have one person top, one person bot, 3 people mid. You can do all sorts of different combinations, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. You know, you can do whatever. You can do whatever you want as long as you know what might be the outcome if it goes badly. I'll talk about the most common one, which is when the 4 people, you most likely because you're playing mid lane, 4 of you are going in towards mid, in mid, and your top laner is going to push top lane. That's usually the most common split pushing tactic. A lot of times happens bot lane because if you spread them far enough, it takes them longer to move from place to place, which means there's more time for you to deal damage to turrets and stuff like that. What this usually will do is it will cause 1 or 2 people, usually 1 person, to match the person split pushing. That's usually what will happen. So you'll have 1v1 and a 4v4 down here. The hope in that situation is that your top laner is really strong, or whoever is fighting that person is strong enough to deal with the person who's been sent up there, and they can push the wave. You being reactive to what's going on down there, the 4 people who are there, the group, are reacting to whatever is going on up there. That's usually what's supposed to happen. Now, side note, disclaimer, you're supposed to be pushing together at the same pace. You're supposed to be pushing together, you're hitting the tower at the same time, you're pushing the wave at the same time, you're going with the same wave, because guess what? Especially top and bottom, their waves move at the exact same speed, and they get to the same point at the same time. Mid takes a shorter amount of time to get places because it doesn't have to take as long as, doesn't have to travel as far. So usually, if you want, you can do top and bottom, which is usually a good idea because obviously we talked about that earlier. You're really just trying to apply pressure. This is kind of like a sieging tactic as well. You're trying to siege the tower, try to do your best to poke them out or do something else, and eventually push through the tower with your minion waves, hoping that the person up there is 1v1ing and they win. Now, if they don't, you pull back, and you try again. A lot of times what happens, and this is usually what happens to me, is that we'll be in mid lane, we're being pushed in by 5 people, and the top laner thinks, haha, I've got the idea. I've got a smart idea out of my brain onto the floor, and I stomp on it, and I squish it and throw it around, and here's the idea. I will go top lane. And they teleport to top lane, and they're like, I'll push this by myself. The 3 and 4, I don't know, jacks or whatever, and then the 5-man team decides, well, we'll just ignore them, and they push on through and kill us all, and then they win. And that's usually what happens. That can be beneficial. It can happen on the occasion that you as a 4-man group can take on the 5-person group sometimes. I'm not saying it never happens, but I'm going to tell you probably 95% of the time you're going to lose that fight, especially in lower elo when it's like, okay, everyone's kind of like, okay, they're kind of not doing great, and the only person who's doing pretty well is like the support or something like that, and then it's just like, well, I guess we just lost because the Caitlyn's fed and the Vel'Koz is just blowing everyone up or whatever, I don't know, and the Fiora from top lane decide, well, I'm just gonna ignore that guy and help you guys push. Usually that top laner is doing nothing really. They're not applying pressure because they're 1 person. Yeah, they could probably, if there was time and we were doing other things and they're like, oh, you don't fight, it's like, we can't not fight. Out of all of this, the important points are applying pressure to make your opponents make decisions. Going forward with that and understanding that it may not come out the way you wanted it to, especially if the wrong person is sent top or the wrong person is sent to the 1 lane or whatever. Pushing together is also very important. If you're gonna split push and apply pressure, you have to apply pressure at the same time because otherwise it won't work. Otherwise it won't work. The 1 person is going to die, and if they are up at the tower and you guys are still down here somewhere else, they're gonna push up and they'll die before, and then the enemy team can react to you guys and they're gonna kill you. So it's just a snowballing effect that happens. That's it. That's all I really want to talk about today, pressure. But thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. I make league content, gameplay videos, and guides and such, and I'm planning on doing some more stuff as soon as things start dying down a little bit in my life. These videos are kind of like easy, not easy, but they're straightforward videos that I can make. And I just want to put content out for you guys. This is what's going to be for a while until I can have the time and the focus to make better stuff that I want to make. So, and also leave a comment down below. Tell me what has been the most frustrating split pushing incident that you've run into. I've had several actually this past couple weeks playing in ranked, and I've just been so freaking it is just, you just become so angry at the person who's being angry at you because you're just like, why are you doing this? We are not in the position of doing this at all. Please let us like play as a team for once, like that kind of deal. But yeah, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, and hit the bell button for notifications when I upload a video. yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time. Bye.